There we go. We thought we'd get a couple of different perspectives of those who work in the NHS. Nearer the end of his career, Wayne Jaff is a semi-retired skin surgeon. Morning to you, Wayne.
Good morning.
And near the beginning of hers is Victoria Selwyn, a junior doctor who's been working at the East and North Hertfordshire NHS Trust since graduating last year. Good morning, Victoria.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
It's a great pleasure. Wayne, let's start with you. You're coming towards the end of your time in the NHS. I don't want to be rude, but you're probably nearer the end than you are the beginning. Has it changed vastly in that period that you've been there?
There has been a lot of changes. I think we've seen it in terms of progress, in terms of medicine, in terms of testings that we can do, but also in terms of intensity, the amount of work coming through, the amount of illness coming through, and the amount of treatments coming through. Also, you see how being, from my point of view, a doctor on the wards has changed. When I was a junior doctor, I was part of a firm, and we all stayed together. We worked together. We did on-call shifts every other night or every third night together. Now we don't have firms anymore. We work more shift systems. So there has been fundamental changes within the NHS, apart from the fact it's still free for all.
If I came in to be treated by you 25 years ago versus now, would I get better treatment, better standards now or then, do you think?
You would definitely get better standards now because
that's interesting.
I am a skin specialist, and we have treatments now for diseases like melanoma, which didn't exist 25 years ago. So if you had melanoma 25 years ago, you had a much higher chance of dying, whereas now you have a much higher chance of surviving. So things are far better than they were 25 years ago in terms of how you will be treated and managed.
The speed of treatment, would that be better or worse in terms of how quickly I get treated?
That's variable. I still think we are probably now getting quicker. I think the pandemic did trouble us greatly.
Yeah.
Had a huge backlog, and we're starting to catch up. Again, in my specialty, we've done lots of extra work at weekends to beat the backlog. So we're now doing the 14-day cancer targets. We're now meeting them, whereas those targets didn't exist 25 years ago.
Interesting. Victoria, you're just starting out. Firstly, how optimistic do you feel? You're starting out at a time where everyone's on strike. We've had the pandemic problem, I was just hearing from Wayne. There's problems with waiting lists. Do you join this industry feeling optimistic?
I mean, I think you've got to have some optimism. We, as doctors, spend years and years at medical school and sometimes doing other degrees and things to get us to this point where we can call ourselves doctors. So you've got to have some hope, although things do seem quite dark and sometimes like a job that you wonder why you wanted to do it in the first place. But there are some things that you wouldn't want to change for the world. The colleagues that you have that support you through this, a lot of my peers that are in a very similar position to me, that are first or second year newly qualified doctors, we share our struggles amongst us. And although sometimes it's frustrating, there are people that do want to listen. Our seniors are very supportive and do support our, strike action and things like that, because they can see that our work environment is difficult, and there's a lot of burnout amongst newly qualified doctors, a lot of people taking time out to be able to cope with the stress that comes with the job.
Do you think you'll be there in 25 years, Victoria, or will you be working in Australia, do you think?
I hope that I'll still be here in 25 years. There's a lot of talk about changes that can be made, and even just like the smallest of changes that could make the biggest of differences that could help us to be able to retain more of our doctors. And I hope that I will still be working in the UK and for the NHS in 25 years.
One of the things we talk a lot about this programme, I'll ask you both this question, is a lot of the pressure on the NHS is down to us. It's down to people behaving properly, having a sense of personal responsibility. What would you say? What would you like people to do differently, Victoria? What would you like members of the public to change that would make the job of working in the NHS easier?
I think it's difficult. I think maybe we need to also make that effort to work more with maybe public health and awareness with the public about at what stage should you be booking an appointment with your GP? At what stage should you be turning up to A&E? I think maybe we need to make these things maybe a bit more clear. But that would definitely help with reducing a strain, is people getting that help when they need it at the right time, not too early and not too late.
Yeah. Wayne, what would you say?
I think what we all realise is, as we get older and more senior, prevention is better than cure. So I think everybody has to take some responsibility for their health. I'm a skin cancer doctor. I see lots of people who abuse some beds. Some beds are carcinogenic devices. They're still legal. So why are we allowing these carcinogenic devices to be allowed? We need to prevent disease, and therefore we'll have more capacity to treat it when it does actually come along.
That's a mini theme of often what we talk about, and actually skin cancer is a really good example of that. Wayne and Victoria, thank you so much for joining us. How interesting. That's Wayne Jaff, a semi-retired skin surgeon at Victoria Selwyn, junior doctor at the beginning of her career.
Many of you getting in touch. We'll read some more of them out in the next hour of the